One Up review. Today, I'm here with 4 of my friends, and we're here to review a special album, Nas's King Disease 3. King's Disease or King
Yes.
Disease?
King's
Disease 3. This is I don't know if it's the final part in a 3-part series.
It is.
It is
It
a
has to
way.
be.
It is a way to send it off, though. I will tell you that. I'm here with our one and only host, Tony El Caballo.
Yo.
My boy Mateo,
How you doing, bud?
the one without a gun, the Texan gun without a one, the Texan one without a gun.
You got it in there somewhere.
It's the Texan one without a gun.
I got my boy Pucho here, the master editor,
I was about to say no nicknames.
the
Goddamn.
master editor, and then my boy Will, Fox Gabanna in the house.
Salute, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you back.
Back,
dude.
my brother.
So I will just get into a few things that I wanted to talk about. Guys, the Jay-Z D writing has to stop, okay? This video, we can't be writing. They're nary a Jay-Z. Actually, I'm going to have to mention Jay-Z very early.
I will mention Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
2 times maybe.
We
But-
can blame it on Nas this time, though.
Yeah. Also, what's up with the 8s? 8s? All 8s, guys? All 8s? So these are comments from our last Nas review. We had a lot of people, 60-something comments on that video.
A lot of
And-
people were not happy, all right? They had a lot of comments about the review. We reviewed Nas's Magic. Good album, by the way. I felt like when I initially listened to it, it was good. As time went on, it aged like fine wine, all right? It got better.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if we did the review over, I would have some different opinions, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I absolutely feel the same way. I think as time went by, I started even catching more stuff from the album, and I'm like, man, this is deep. Like, this is
Yeah.
way deeper than I even realized.
And to be honest with you, you can pull that from the other 2 as well. If you really go back and listen, I think Magic kind of got the Kendrick treatment in a sense. Pucho's right. It did age like fine wine,
For sure.
and it's just nuts that we're back here on King's Disease 3. So can't wait to share my thoughts on this one.
Well, he told us it was coming in Magic, right? He dropped that. He dropped
Yes.
that reference about it.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to bring Fox on because when we did influential albums, inspirational albums, Fox's album was Illmatic. So I feel like he was the perfect person to bring on for this album review. But we'll
Absolutely,
get
guys.
right into it,
Hey,
guys.
hey, Fox. Before we get into the album, actually, where would people find you? What are you making these days? What do you got?
So if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter as of right now because someone at SoundCloud decided that they could shut my site down, and I've been devastated ever since. So you can find me at Twitter. It's Retro Fox Live. As of right now, I am currently not making anything, and I know that sounds sad, but I really want to experiment and change a new sound. Like me and Doe talked about this the other day. A lot of the music that I'm hearing now is something that I was making way back in 2013, 14. Yeah, it's my bad I didn't capitalize on it, but I just want to change the sound to the point where if you listen to it, be like, that's interesting. I want to hear more. Where can I find that? And it's not there yet, but once it shows up, we'll be good to go. So kind of just taking the rest of the year off, and then hopefully by 2023, we'll have some really good stuff for you guys. So
Oh yeah, dude.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's what's
fire.
up. So first track, Ghetto Reporter.
okay.
I'll let go ahead, Fox. You can start off.
All right, so let me get my words together with this. King's Disease 3, starting off with Ghetto Reporter. This track has so much depth inside of it because it really explains what it's like for the average musician. So to kind of put it into a short but sweet story, imagine you're an artist, you just get signed, you're the little Uzi Verts or something like that, and you got your wave going for 5 years, and next thing you know, the sound's changing, times are changing as well. the contract that you signed at the beginning of your overall, career. You think it's all glit and glamour because you got your little advance and things like that up front. But there's certain lyrics in this song that really make me just sit back and just appreciate the game that he's dropping for all the new guys and even current people who are trying to continue to still do music. First and foremost, can you cuss on here or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can curse.
All right, so check this out. They drew up contracts for our niggas, Drew Hill to Drew Down, and I'm paying they set. Instead, most artists don't live good as the execs, and they still end up depressed, scarred by A&Rs. The music be changing and the culture be shifting, so you got to move with it. Really, to be honest with you, that's all you need to know out of this song to me, because music is always on the swivel. Music is not timeless anymore, and it's only made for the now. Besides this album, but we'll get more into that later. So
I agree with that too, because that's what I think the title comes from. This track, Ghetto Reporter. He's reporting to you the shit that he been through and what's still going on to this day. So like I said, this is a great track. It's not replayable for me. Like it's not going to be a track I go to just to replay to listen to, but it does have, it's Nas. It has lyrics. It has deep bars that you really got to catch and pay attention to, or it's just going to go over your head. But yeah.
Man, I love the samples that he has throughout this album, but like starting off with that Richard Pryor, like little snippet of the joke, those big ass horns, this big full sound. This track comes out swinging. This track is pure like hype.
Yeah, this track is really, my takeaway was it was a celebration of Nas's career, and it's gonna be a common theme throughout the whole album, in my opinion.
Yeah, this album is pure self-reflection and like old head talking to the new generation. Like it's an interesting album, man.
yeah. How long has it been since he came out? It's about to be what, 25 years?
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
That's 30
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
I think on King's Disease 2, he had the track 27, or maybe that was
Yeah.
King Disease 1, and he was 27 years into his career, and then he made a reference, I believe, on Magic to 28 years or something, or 29 years, and now that he put the track 30 on this one, is like a callback to 27, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, it's gonna be 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, the song, his display of bars was like, okay, I know what I'm gonna be getting on this album. I cannot stop saying, like, he might be the best rapper out, period, of all time. But we'll move on to the next song. Track 2. Song's legit.
Now, this right here, I don't know what it was, but the pianos on this track
Woo!
were amazing. That's
That's
the
exactly
first
exactly
thing.
the note I wrote. Was
I
the
got
pianos
chills right now just talking, bro. The pianos was crazy. This shit woke me up. Like the first track didn't wake. This shit was like, oh, okay. Now I'm nodding my head. Like this shit here is.
It's like some old timey taverny, like I don't know how to, like, that sound of the piano. Just, I love it. It brings, I don't know, he like takes you out of where you're at and he kind of brings you to where he's at, and it feels incredible. You can tell that him and Hit Boy, that it's like a fine, like, I don't know, the formula that they've created to making songs is really good.
Exactly, though. And it's hard to find that in a producer, because like if you look at Illmatic, Pete Rock was I'm not gonna say the sole producer, but he was prominent on that album. And it's like, for you to work with Hit Boy, someone who's been in the industry for a long time, and you're a veteran coming in with these deep storytelling bars, and they nailed it. It's crazy. And like, to add on to what you guys were saying about that piano, I really think that sample, I'm not too sure who it is, but that scream at the beginning, it kind of makes it feel like an old Jay-Z track from like maybe 444 or something like that. Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah, I love that.
He said old 444. I'm like, that's just brand new.
I just want to point out to the comments that Fox was the first one to drop the Jay-Z reference.
Hey, I'm sure we got many more to come, but also, too, Jay, if you ever see this, we need another album, please.
Facts.
But nah, yeah, this legit one is pretty much his story of like how, literally getting out of the game and just going legit. Like, yo, get your paper right. You're here. You got the bread. Clean everything before they come and bag you. Like some of the there was one I think 7-1 get my notes. Sorry. Oh yeah. So it says here, rep the 718. It's hard to depart from that feeling. So that's him like saying like I'm still street, but it's so hard to let it go. Like, cause people have a problem. Rappers nowadays have a problem letting go of the street because they feel like if they let go, they're losing themselves, or people are gonna think different of them. So just him, giving that I guess his view or him saying like, yo, you gotta let it go, be legit, but you can still be the streets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I found it like pretty dope for him to drop jewels like that too. This whole album is jewel dropping.
Yes.
Before we move on, though, did anybody catch, and maybe I'm bugging, but was there an MC Hammer sample towards the end? He just dropped like a too legit, I could have sworn that was towards the end of the song. Yeah, I was like, was that MC Hammer?
Yes. As the album goes on, you'll hear sounds from Nas's first album play in the background. The droning sound from Dead Presidents. There's several different songs on here that Hit Boy puts in sounds from his first album, just like in the back, very small. I loved it though. Every time it happened, I'm like, oh my God, that feels so cool.
I mean, the entire album is just filled with those musical references, with lines referencing shit. He's got a line in here where he's referencing the movie Belly. Like, he's talking about being in the belly of the beast. Like, I got the Belly reference from that.
Good movie, by the way, if anybody has not seen that. But
track.
Sorry to cut you off, though. I wanted to say one last thing before we move.
Go ahead.
With this album too, you kind of feel that connection between the producer and the artist, because if you look at some of the YouTube videos of them recording this, it's literally like how I used to do back when I was in college. You got your artist and, Hit Boy's on the computer and he's standing right next to you, and it's just that direct connection vibe. And I just really feel like that goes all the way not only into the lyrics, but like as the rest of you were saying, it goes down into the production as well, just to really give that, how you want to say, chef kiss to his 30 years of history that he's been around for. So
yeah. Track 3, Thun.
Yo.
This is the first Apex for me. I was like, oh, like this shit, the hair on the back of my neck started to stand up.
This is
because I'm like, this is like 10, 11 out of 10 rapping. I'm like, hold the fuck up. I'm like, I wasn't ready for this, Nas.
So this right here from my notes is saying pretty much a shot at Jay-Z, but not a shot at Jay-Z. Like, there's a bar in here where he says, no beef or rivals. My Ether's playing on Tidal, right? Brothers can do anything when they decide to. So it's saying like they got over their beef because, obviously if everybody here knows Ether, all that beef. That
he also said he calls Jigga and tells him it ain't over.
It ain't over. He's letting him know. I was getting there.
He says he still listens to the Takeover verse.
Yeah. And he's letting him know that he's still holding down for Queens. Like, anytime he wants to go again, bar for bars, he's down. Like, it's like a jokingly love. Like, yo, like, we brothers, but nigga, I'll still give you the business.
I don't think he ever got over that. There's some rap shit that
I think that the entire the storyline in the album is that he did, though. I think that it's that he's grown and he's moved past all the bullshit, and he wants the younger generation to do the same. I think that's like the story that he's telling with this album, besides just a celebration of his career and himself in general.
Yeah, I think him saying that he calls Jigga to tell him it ain't over is to show like I still have conflicted feelings. I am getting over this shit, but I still tell him it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I interpreted that. for this song in particular, what I loved so much coming into track 3 was the beat variety was crazy. Like the production on this album, pretty much across the board, there's just a lot of variety in sound. The sound of the music does not get boring. And 3 tracks in, I was like, oh man, they hit us with one shit, then we got pianos, now we get them strings on this song. Yes. Crazy. Yep. I was like, I was just like, I'm just really, really enjoying just the variety of music. Mm-hmm. Also, like he brought back the KRS line where KRS disses the something crew, the Juice Crew, when he's battling Queens back in the day, and he has like Manhattan keeps on making it, some bullshit like that, and he basically says Queens keeps faking it, and then Nas said the whole thing but switches it to Queens keeps on caking it, or something to that effect. Something like that. I thought it was nice. It's like a lot of this whole trip on this album is both nostalgic for Nas's career, but also nostalgic for what Nas loves in hip hop too. So he brings up KRS. He got MC Hammer on there. He makes references to Slick Rick, and it's just a lot of call outs throughout the whole album. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, the whole album, bro. Like from the first track and going all the way through, it took me to like the 90s era. This is a thing that Nas does, right? And that's why with him and Hit Boy, it's so fucking they're a nuclear bomb, them two, when they work together, because it's like Nas is still 90s Nas. He has not changed his flow. Like, he's not really changed his technique and how he approaches. Hit Boy brings that new with his old, bro. Every time I listen to each track, I feel like I'm in the fucking 90s listening to Nas. Like, it's just a 90 feeling. It's not all this black pop bullshit. It's just real, original, and authentic.
Very thick boom bap, thick boom bap vibes. I like it though.
But not overly done like how it is. Like, it's just like,
let's get into the next track, because we're only at 3.
Yeah, this album.
We gotta keep moving. All right, next track.
Tony's tight.
This album is just good.
This is one of my favorites right here.
If anything, we'll record the pod Sunday night. All right. Yeah. We gotta make
this is fucking good, bro.
Yeah. Michael and Quincy.
Oh. This is one of my favorites right here. So
yeah. So going into this album, I'll be honest. So far, I haven't loved these songs. I love things about the song, but I'm like, nothing really hit for me hard. This was the first track that I was like, man, it was both. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I the shit that Quincy Jones produced with Michael Jackson is some of Michael Jackson's best, and I love the parallel, although maybe a bit cocky, but I love the parallel of him basically saying, like, in this scenario, there's Michael Jackson and Quincy. Now you got Nas and Hit Boy. We another duo like this legendary duo. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying, look, we already dropped 2 classics. Here, I'm hitting y'all with a 3rd classic. Like I love the bravado involved in making such a claim to say that he's equivalent to the King of Pop. But I loved it.
There is a part in this song where these trumpets start to kick in. I don't know if they're like Mexican trumpets. I don't know what it is. Yo, that shit I don't know. It gave me goosebumps the way this is produced. Even the beat switch towards the end, I feel like shows that Nas is very versatile. And even if you switch the beat up on him, he's still going to be able to ride on it. I fucking love everything about this track.
Absolutely, Doe. And to be honest with you, for some history, I think people who know of Quincy Jones, they only know of him as being paired with Michael Jackson, but people didn't know Quincy Jones was the boss on the trumpet. And to kind of touch back on some lyrics on here that I thought really stood out, because I feel like this is kind of a jab, but also as, an acceptance piece for Nas. So on, verse 2, he goes, even if I never had 2 arms full of Grammys or a sponsor from Pepsi, I still be honorary, like Quincy on the trumpet, Hit Boy on the drum kit, nasty like Mike on the vocals, I overdub it, and then he got that Shimon in there at the end of the day.
Shimon.
Yeah, like I love that, because like we all know Nas is like one of the best when it comes down to art of storytelling. Like Kendrick has it, J. Cole, who else? Andre 3000, but at the same time, he doesn't sell like what you would think someone of that caliber would. And that's completely fine. And the fact that he's content with it and knows that he's still great, I just love that confidence. That's perfect, you know?
I don't know how true it is, but I think it's in the second verse towards the end where he says, young like Quincy Jones stuck outside the club till Ray Charles snuck him in. Is that an actual real, did that really happen?
You mean Quincy Jones before he got popular?
When he was young, before he popped, that he was outside. Like I was listening to, I was like, damn, is this actually like a true thing that he really snuck? Like,
yeah,
like, I didn't like, you know what I mean? That just, I like I said, I never really listened to any of that back in the day or knew all of the information, but that just took me by surprise. Like, damn, a young Quincy got snuck in.
I think the reference is a lot more dire than that. I think it's in reference to Quincy Jones saying
he gave him
that
the game.
one time Ray Charles got him hooked on heroin.
Oh, so, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. See?
I think that's the reference. He's saying he got him into drugs. Is what that's how I interpreted that. But I also don't know the full history behind those two guys. That's just one particular story that I've heard about.
I like him talking about like this perception of like what it means to like have power and money and wealth, and he's flipping it because he's got this line about how like gang members, they got nothing on these congressmen, and he talks about like Michael Jackson him being able to purchase White, but he's talking about him buying like the rights to the Beatles, you know, the White Album. Like it's an interesting little
that's a major
dynamic
thing though. Major.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Fire.
It's interesting. I dug that track completely.
Next track.
One little blurb before we leave. Just again, you know, we're now 4 tracks in, and the instruments are constantly changing. And one of the notes I even wrote was like, yo, not only are the instruments changing, there are so many instruments on this song. Some I couldn't even recognize. I'm like, is that a piano? Is that a synthesizer? Like, what am I even hearing? Like, I couldn't. It's hard. I don't know. The fact that I couldn't tell just made it more interesting to me, and it kind of hooked me in more. So.
The only thing I want them to add to these like track list descriptions is how long it took Hit Boy to do all of it. Because there's so, like you said, there's so many instruments. It's just like, bro, just to go through all that and fucking piece it by piece, bro, it's hours, maybe days. But go ahead, though.
All right. Track 5, 30.
So I'm gonna start off on this one real quick. So this felt like a victory lap. Like we talked about this when we first started the show here, but like this felt like a true victory lap. And when you really sit and think that, you know, Nas has been around for 30 years, it's nuts. And all of his albums, with maybe a couple, complete fire. Like definitely got to check them out. But you know, the fact that on this track in particular, there's a couple of things on here that really stood out because like right now you think we're trying to figure out, is King's Disease 3 going to be the last installment? But at the same time, Nas is also on here talking about that his premiere album still might happen. And then kind of touching back to what I said about Pete Rock earlier on his older albums, such as Illmatic. You know, Pete Rock currently, if y'all don't know, they're kind of in a beef because Pete Rock feels like Nas's albums, well, the sound of it isn't going in the right direction for someone of his caliber. And really, I think he's just jealous because I think that he feels like he should be producing. So also on this track, Nas comes in and says, I wonder why Pete Rock would act like that. The type of behavior made me give rap right back. And now I can't tell if all the good that I did's being hid with the agenda again, nigga.
So I actually interpreted that as because Pete Rock is suing, or he talked some bullshit about Nas because he's basically saying, I think he produced The World Is Yours and he didn't get paid, like is his claim, and he took a shot at Nas about not getting paid about that. And I interpreted Nas's bar as saying, I don't even own that master. Take that shit up with Sony type of shit. Why? Also, you could have called me privately and we couldn't handle this instead of not only taking it's a misdirected shot at me. Is how I interpreted that interaction, bro.
I fell down a rabbit hole on like Reddit or something, and that because I was curious about that line because it stuck out to me, and I didn't know any of the history there. So I was reading on Reddit, and that seemed to be what most people were saying they interpreted the line as meaning.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pucho. And really, to be honest with you, like you're right, Nas doesn't own the masters to that track, but honestly, MC Search actually owns the masters to that album, and he's actually pending. Well, he was trying to sell them at one point in time. I don't know if it's going through or not, but someone else that a lot of people probably thought fell off and faded away, sitting on majority of Nas's catalog as of right now. So it's kind of wild to hear that.
He doesn't own any of his masters?
Nas might own some of his later masters, but he don't own a lot of it. Part of the stuff he's talking about in this song is a lot of the deals back in the day would be 30-year deals. So basically, you make your music. Whoever owns your masters owns your masters. Once 30 years hit, the artist owns the master again. So Nas is talking about how he's finally gonna get to own Illmatic, and he's saying, like, yo, Search, tell me how much you want for this shit. I'll buy it right now, even though it's about to be. I'll get it in a year. I'll buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to own his shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know there were like 30-year deals like that. Gives another layer to the song itself right there.
Is that why?
Yeah, that's another big celebration of the 30. It's almost like he's coming now into the time when every year going forward is gonna be. He's gonna start taking his music back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's fire.
Sadly,
nuts.
with all of this beauty on this song, this is my least favorite song so far. I was like I love the message. I'm like, the song didn't really do it for me. One thing that stuck out to me though, I wonder if there's remember that song Nas album's done with DJ Khaled. It's a DJ Khaled track actually, but Nas raps on it. It felt like a callback. The song starts with a divine leader, something, right?
Yeah.
And this one he starts with a divine creature, and I was like, is that supposed to be a reference to that track? And I couldn't really find the connection beyond that opening, like the opening words. But I was just like, I don't know, it was just something that stuck to me throughout, and I really like that Khaled track. Y'all should go listen to that shit. That shit is one of my favorite Nas songs. That shit is pure Nas just sucking Nas off. Like he's just self-indulging himself, and it's beautiful because I love Nas. I love his music, his whole career, everything. So that track is really fun. I'm talking about a whole different song now, but I didn't like 30, so I'll just put that out there.
I feel like the instrumental wise, it was one of the weaker beats in my opinion. So track 6, Hood to Hood. In my opinion, this is another apex for me. I really, really, really like this song. I love the shift in the beat. I like that it's different. And then like his rapping on here is fucking phenomenal. When it gets to that part where you are not that my guy, when he starts hitting you with those, I was like, oh, this is hard. Because I don't know, man. I feel like Nas is really coming into 2022 and like adapting to what people want to hear in music, and it doesn't sound like it's stuck in the past. I don't know, for me this sounds like a 2022 album. It don't sound like it's trying to be anything except for when he starts rapping like 90s Nas, and I'm like, all right, he's really going in with this 90s flow.
But it's interesting to say that because to me, this song, the music in it felt like the late 90s hip hop that Nas and Jigga, I'm gonna bring up Jigga, were producing, where a lot of the beats sounded reminiscent of the 80s. Like it was almost like that era they were trying to like be nostalgic about the previous decade or whatever. And just that little, the intro beat and all of that, something about that just made me feel like, yo, this shit just screams 80s. And
the crystal synths.
I love the there's like a video game sound effect that plays throughout that it has like this delay on it. It's like and it like fades out. It plays like every like 15 seconds. So I loved it every single time I heard it. I was like, oh, this shit. This song was really good. The whole thing just came together really nice.
The entire album feels like they're attempting to make this impossible timeless thing, because they're pulling 50 years of samples, and they're just tossing them in all over the place. It's interesting. It's crazy, the production to it, as far as how it feels. Like Doey said, like it feels modern. It feels like a 2022 like produced track, but there's elements of 90s hip hop and 80s hip hop, and there's all this shit sprinkled in that it kind of gives it a little bit of that timeless feeling. I agree with Fox. I don't think you can really make timeless music. Like it's tough. It's hard as hell.
Very hard.
But this is good. But this album is a good goddamn try to do so. Facts. I had a little aside here. Did y'all ever look up what the King's disease actually is?
No, I didn't actually.
King's disease apparently was this term they used to use for gout, because the kings were prone to getting it because you get gout from overindulging in certain types of food, right? Mm-hmm. So the king's disease is this desire to overindulge because you have just so much available. You have so much on your plate. It's just this desire to overindulge. I thought that was interesting. He makes some reference to king's disease in this song itself, so I had to go and look it up. I was like, the fuck is king's disease anyway?
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of interpretations. One reading that I've had throughout, because a lot of what he's talking about, especially in this song, is about like black unity, about coming together, like rising together and all of that. And unfortunately, in America, black people are not in a very good situation. A lot of people in poverty, a lot of people in jail, all of that. And I always interpreted the king's disease is Nas saying that some of the problems are internal. And, we call black people kings is a thing, like a lot of black people call themselves kings. So he's talking about the disease of the black people. A lot of times it's internal, and we need to look within and within our communities to try to like get out of that. He actually talks about on the last track, or on the later on Don't Shoot, he's talking about how like don't do this, don't kill. Wouldn't it be amazing if we didn't kill each other? We didn't do this? And he's saying this is the cure to the king's disease. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting way ahead of myself, but again, a lot of this album is self-referential. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's how I interpret it. And I'm sure he's going for double, triple, quadruple entendres on what these things really mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the double and triple entendres are deep within this album. And honestly, we missed a couple of them so far. But yeah, Pucho, you're definitely right about that.
Next track.
All right. Track number 7, Recession Proof.
All right. So this is my favorite track out of the whole disc, because that bass that they got coming in, and then you're going to pair it with that sample that's just repetitive. It reminds me of like a Lex Luger, like repetitive type ordeal, but it really fits with the flow. So of course with this track, recession proof, people think that nobody's accustomed to falling down on bad times. And that's really what this track is about, starting off from his early history to where he's at now, which is typical. But at the same time, the image, or I should say the picture that's being portrayed from lyrics, like for instance, let's jump back to what is it, verse 1. So, was just a kid, but I stayed away from the sniffers. We knew better. We knew how to see the setup. Just wanted to be some players pulling up in a Jetta. Nowadays a Jetta ain't shit, but at the same time, back in the day, Jettas, A1, Lexus, A1, and it's like to hear of those initial dreams that push you to be where you want to be, regardless of how bad things are. There's always a way out. And of course it gets deeper, but I'll let some other people chime in on this as well. But this was one of my favorite tracks, from the beat all the way to just the overall artistry of it, I should say.
That bass riff is nasty. Yeah. I had that in like all caps on my notes here. I fucking love that bass riff, dude.
Yeah.
There's also there are notes in here, like production notes that sound like I'm not sure Memory Lane or one of the old Nas tracks. There's a sound or drum pattern that they're using that I'm like, that's from his old album. It feels like, I'm like, that's a sound from his old album. So I love that. I love when the hook kicks in. Like, this several times in this album, I had goosebumps. I had the hair raise up in the back of my neck. I haven't had that in a long time, like an actual, and I was like, wow, I really enjoy this album, this song specifically as well.
No, this this song seems like it's like just reiterating this like idea of not think you're invincible. I like the JFK reference. When he talks about if he can get hit, anybody can get got. Like I enjoyed that. I don't know what the hell tickled me about that, but it did.
No, but it's true. I think a lot of people take it for granted that you just can't just walk outside and get killed or get in a car crash or something like that. It's not inevitable, and hopefully nothing like that happens to anybody. But it's true.
No, yeah, I agree with everything you guys are saying. Like the beat to the lyrics to everything. I mean, this is probably like, it's not my favorite one, but it's up there for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm with Tony. Not my favorite song, but the bass stuck out to me. My notes were like, yo, this is some like Bootsy Collins bass shit with like there's some the bass even changes throughout. Sometimes it sounds like they got a little wah, or a wah effect, or like or sometimes they're throwing the occasional like slap in there, like. You could sound, it's like a more plucky sound on the bass. I enjoyed musically the song, but it wasn't my favorite. My takeaway was, we've been calling my brother recession proof since like 2009. My brother has never not had a job. The motherfucker works through everything. He'll find a job anywhere. So that was my takeaway. I was like, oh man, all right, Nas wrote a song about my brother. I fuck with it.
That's hilarious. All right, track number 8. Reminisce.
One of my favorites.
This one's good too.
This is one of my
pure
favorites.
nostalgia.
Absolutely.
So, like, this is a drive solo song for me. I love tracks that I can drive from work to wherever I'm driving, and I can just sit and just think about shit. And this song literally does that for me. This is like maybe top 2, one of my favorite on this album. He makes a couple references which kind of had me thinking, like, have it here. Oh, never knew I soon relate to Tom Brady going for 7 in Tampa Bay. That right there is when Bucks won in 2020, and that's the same year that Nas dropped multiple fucking projects, and them shits was bangers and bangers. So to me, that's like him referencing, like, yo, like, I'm the master of my craft. I'm the top dog of this league. I am that dude. I'm going for 7 in a row. So to me, it makes me think like, damn, maybe KD3 is not the last. Mm-hmm. There might be more. But, and that he's so old in the game after so much time, like he's still got it. He's still feel like he could still be here. He could still do it. And, and it goes on just reminiscing, obviously, the name of the song. And it just brings me back to just sitting in a whip, just chilling. It doesn't got too much crazy on the beat, but it's just like, cigar smoking, drinking something nice and neat. Just, I don't know. I love it.
I interpreted the Tom Brady line a little differently. So not only was 2020 a year where Nas dropped a lot of projects and he was doing big things, but it was already Nas well into the tail end of his career. The parallel between Tom Brady going for 7 rings with another team and Nas starting another big project. That's the year he dropped King Disease 1. Mm-hmm. So that parallel was cool. But also the fact that Tom Brady ain't doing so hot right now. You know what I'm saying? Nas saying, like, like, to me, I interpreted that almost like, look, we went for 7, we did a big thing. This is maybe, this KD3 might be the equivalent to Tom Brady's 2020 season, and maybe I'm gonna hang it up. And there's other lines throughout the album that made me think like, oh shit, like that kind of felt like Nas was talking about, like, all right, maybe I'm at the end, like, you know what I'm saying? But
you can also flip it and be like, yo, it's like I'm with a new team, I'm with Hit Boy, and me and Hit Boy are doing it, and I can continue on, like, because there's so many ways you can go with it, but.
That's what I like about this album. There's so many different ways to interpret it. I do take it more like Pucho's thing, just because there's so much heavy self-reflection in this song. There's just so much like just looking back and reminiscing, and I think it's a little bit more. I think it's got a little bit more of the sadness edge. I like what he did with the verses in this, though. This song kind of builds up slow. The first verse didn't catch me. The second verse is when it really like pulled me in. And then he flipped things in that third verse. It was short. He did something weird with his cadence, where his cadence was completely different.
I have a note, because I maybe Pucho or Do, you guys can answer it, or even whoever. I have down here on one of the in between the chorus, so I think it's called the bridge, obviously. He's like, I don't like to reminisce. Shout out to Mary J. Blige, Yo, and QB. What the fuck is Yo? Is that like a city in New York?
Oh, yeah, I can come on this for you. So really, this beat that they have right here, that whole sample in the background is actually Mary J. Blige. And the fact that this is one called Reminiscent, and Mateo, you said something about this song has like a sadness, and Tony, you said this song feels like it has pain. Mary J. Blige is actually another artist who has been in the game for, I want to say, 30 plus years as well, and she definitely didn't have it easy coming in, and this is just like the perfect, I should say, canvas for Nas to skate over, if you ask me.
Yeah, QB is Queensbridge, so I'm guessing he's shouting out his hood.
And that's where Mary J. Blige is from too, isn't she?
Isn't she from Yonkers?
I'm not too sure, but it
I
might
don't
be,
know.
Either way, I liked about everything. I love this song, but at the end, they switched the beat up to like this very let's get sturdy 2022 getting sturdy. I was like, ooh, I was like, yo, and he switches up his flow and everything, and I'm like, yo, this is 2022 Nas right here. This is what Nas would sound like on like a Pop Smoke track or something like that. I'm like, yo, this is so fucking fire.
Yeah, that ending got very like modern, kind of mumble rappy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, all right. I thought it was interesting.
I think it's a little bit of him flexing. I
personally didn't like it, but I
200%.
respect it. No, I didn't like it, but I respected it because it ain't my style that I like. But like Mateo said, go ahead, because that's what I agree with.
Yeah, it's a flex. Like throughout this entire album, he's mimicking other people's styles at certain points just to show I can do this modern shit. I can do this style. He's like nothing is untouchable. You know that dude from MMA that he calls himself the style bender? That's Nas. Yeah. Nas is the fucking rap style bender.
The Israel Adesanya guy or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
this next track. All right, sorry, because I want to go first. I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
Why? What do y'all think he's rapping about on? The next track is Serious Interlude. What do you think he's rapping about?
This is a story, right? He's definitely...
but it feels too simplistic to not be deeper. Like, so the whole time I got heavy I used to love her vibes from Common, where Common is rapping about a girl he's been in love with his whole life, and he's really rapping about hip-hop. I don't know, this song felt exactly like that. And there were a couple of lines throughout, like he mentions on this track, he mentions that he was with her back then, and he still and she still wants to be with him now, or call it quits. So, and it was another line that was like, is he talking about retirement? Is he talking about like, if this girl is hip hop, and he's talking about like he was with her back then when he was dead broke, she still wants to be with him now, or call it quits? I was like, is that like the conflict of wanting to continue doing this but also wanting to kind of hang it up type of thing? So
I researched that, and this is a reference to LL Cool J. When he says, Lady loves cool Nas, Cool J say, Lady loves cool James. I had to research it because I didn't understand what the hell. Like I was just like, I didn't know who he's talking about. I knew he was talking about somebody, I didn't know who. So I had to research that first verse, and then that's what he was referencing. He was referencing LL Cool J. And
the whole song can't be a song about LL Cool
No, not
J,
just so. Just I think just that first half of that verse, like, and then there was another one here too that I had to research on it, bro. Like it's. Let me see if I can find it here. Someone else can continue on while I look for it.
Yeah, I'm with Butch. This song felt like the storytelling. It wasn't there for me. This felt like one of the weaker. Like this honestly might have been the weakest track to me on this album. It was just a little bit simple, and the beat was kind of sleepy. This one just I couldn't get jiggy with.
I agree, and also too with this, like this would be my interpretation of it, because you guys are right. Like, what is he talking about? Because it could easily be interpreted as a past love. I mean, what's her face, Khalees from back in the day, and then whoever before that. But for some reason, I kind of feel like this song was a love letter penned to the game. So I feel like Nas looks at the rap game, or just the hustle in general, as a beautiful female. It's kind of like how Kobe Bryant would take like all the negative energy and turn it into like a mortar in order for him to be motivated and move forth. So picture the rap game as a beautiful woman. Back then when I was a scruffy dude, I didn't have to drive a Rolls that took off her clothes and stuff like that. I just feel like this might be something towards that, but it's kind of jumping back to that double entendre, triple entendre we was talking about earlier, because it could be anything,
I like that interpretation a bit more. It makes because the song did feel super just simple. It's just like a really basic story that he's telling here. So if there's deeper layers, I'm with it. It still didn't grab me because the musically it just wasn't there for me, as far as like it didn't bring it to the same level the rest of the album did.
Agree.
Yeah, I agree. I still think it's wild how normally an interlude will not have rapping on it. You know what I mean?
That is true, Joey. Normally it's short.
So I was like, so maybe that's why it's called serious interlude. So I was like, yo, this is the hardest interlude I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm like, 'cause usually, interlude is, just a space to breathe between the next song. And it also kind of puts like a halfway point up for you. So that's how I felt about that. Track number 10, I'm on Fire.
Oh.
This was the shot I needed. After that sleepy track, this one brought it back up.
This right here was him talking his shit.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is the bag. No, this is me, nigga. I'm on my white linen shit. This man is feeling it. From interlude, this brought, like Mateo said, it brought you right back up. He's back to talking his shit. He's back to saying, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. It's just like, damn, Nas, talk your fucking shit.
I like that the person, I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Where did he rip that from? I feel like that was ripped from a movie or something. I don't know, man. Bro.
Hitmaker was fucking doing his thing on this fucking album. Hit Boy,
Yeah.
sorry.
I felt like this. I feel like this track was just set by the short verse 1. Coming in with the same flame behind me from "Hate Me Now" video. We all know that that's a classic track in general, and I don't know. As you continue to get into this track as well, I was also a big fan on the outro on this as well. Like He's on Fire, like NBA Jam. I was alone, like, I'm making some moves. I need to like concentrate and chill. But I was just getting all these calls and everything is telling me like, you're on fire. Like, I mean, not to reiterate what's already been said, but at the same time, like Tony said, Nas talking and shit just to let y'all know, hey, I still got it. And to not be too shallow, there's a lot of hidden gems in this track as well too. But let's see what everybody else got.
That NBA Jam reference, you can't call a song "I'm on Fire" and not toss that fucking reference in.
I was disappointed in that because I was like, he should have just threw the sample in there instead of saying he's on fire. He should have just
could you imagine
threw
that?
the NBA Jam sample right there.
That would be so dope.
Yeah, I
That
thought
would've
that would
been
have been crazy. My interpretation is the same as y'all. You Can Hate Me Now music video had the big flames in the background, which is the reference to the flames, the fire and shit. So he's just saying, I was hot back then, I'm still hot now. He's talking about burning his mattress or something. Like everything he touches catches on fire because the man, he's still hot. You know what I'm saying?
Got that Midas touch.
Right.
Fox, were you talking about that one line where he says, I came in without an ordinary name, how many Nazirs, how many top tier, how many not here? And then he said something about descripted in sculpture holding two dragons blowing flames. Is that what you were saying when you were saying like he referenced other things? Like there was like
is this the same track?
Yeah, it's the same track. It was where he talking about like an Easter egg where he was going back, referencing back to another. Because you was like, I'll let you guys try to figure out. Because you mentioned like how there's like some hidden gems.
Yeah. So a lot of people try to imitate, but you can't. And what's that old saying? Like kung fu movies. As a student, when you're ready, the teacher appears, or something like that. Actually, I feel like that's from a game, and it might be from Death's Door. I'm not too sure, but at the same time, yes.
Darth Vader said, when we last met, I was the student, you were the master.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See? Thank you, Pucho.
Yeah, the student becomes the master, Cool song. I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
He had the
first verse way too fucking short. I heard y'all touch on that when
short,
I got my wireless headphones. Way too fucking short. I was like, why is this verse so short?
You're over there screaming in your kitchen.
Yeah, he had some a la bars in this rap. I liked it. And then he said he's rap games arsonist or raps arsonist or something like that. I'm like, all right, this is fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next song, track 11. What WTF SMH? How do you guys feel
I didn't
about
like this one that much.
I couldn't get into it.
Oh man, the beginning was disgusting. I don't know what it was. That I just felt like, I don't know why I felt some type of Wu-Tang shit. Like it just felt like some battle shit was about to take place.
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
It's like it's not my favorite, right? But it's definitely, it's like I was just like, damn, bro, like what is this beat? It's the beat that really made me like it more. He does have some crazy ass bars on here too, though.
My note from this was, I hate this fucking beat. I hated the beat. I didn't like it. The second half of the song, they do like the song switching thing where you get a new beat, kind of a new flow, and I was like, this should have been the song.
Yes.
But one thing I found funny was that a low vibration joke that he threw in the beginning, where he said this whole shit is in shambles, low vibrational levels. I was like, oh my god,
I would never eat a plate like that.
For the people who don't know, there was some lady judging another lady. She was at the cookout and she had a big ass barbecue plate, and she was like, "That's a low vibration plate," talking about like that's some ghetto shit or that's some like low class.
She was
shit.
judging,
and nobody knows what the fuck low vibration even means. She just invented that shit right then and there. Like,
she's a life coach. Those people paid her to tell them that. For her to judge them.
Shit on them. She got paid to judge them. She
like
saw that big ass plate at the cookout. She said, "That's a low vibration plate. I will never eat that."
She's like a female Kevin Samuels, bro. Shit is crazy. Anyways, yeah.
I did like the wordplay though, with all the acronyms, like spelling them out and stuff. It felt cool. I don't know. I don't know. It's substantively not my favorite, but it felt cool wordplay wise. Like it felt like he was doing a lot with a little.
So I also researched that up too, because that also caught my attention. Those acronyms were like on songs like "Zone Out" with Bravehearts in 2002, and
Bravehearts,
and then in Godson, when inspired by DMX and K Solo, I think it was. It was all like all those acronyms came back from all those songs and shit back in the day. So that to me was pretty cool. And then he had also like some similarities with Jay Electronica as well. Like when he
also fucked it up because I actually wrote it here. Earlier I mentioned when Fox brought up MC Search about buying his masters back. He actually says that on this song. He says, "Peace to MC Search, how much the catalog worth?" Saying like, how much is it worth? I'm gonna buy it from you. Like I referenced that on the other track, but it was actually on this song. I fucked that up.
It also sounds like it was aimed towards the new generation, kind of like playing them a little bit.
For sure. I mean, especially with like that acronym, like as the title of the track, like it.
Yeah. The first beat sounded like some fake Pharrell shit. Like that nigga was trying to get some Pharrell vibes. I do like the second half way better than the first half.
Second half, he starts off strong by naming his son. Dropped his son in there. And that intro part where he was like, "We manifest destiny like a knight in night shining armor. Yeah, trying to be there for all my kids, no matter how hard that is." Like his son name is Knight. So like that was also interesting. He dropped his kids in there.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Track 12. Once a man, twice a child.
This was actually one of my highlight tracks off of this because this is, I don't know, I think it's the beat, but also just the storytelling. But like, you know, this is really just talking about growth in general. So just letting you know that, you know, the world is temporary. Please understand you'll die tomorrow and then be born again. But what stuck out to me the most was going to be the outro here. So, you know, reminiscing, touching base on early Nas. What was that? And in the streets, I had agility, was quick to strike. My fears not seeing it coming, got too rich for that sight. So take advantage of the youth before you're elderly, because today is the youngest that you'll ever be. And just to really embrace the fact that you're living in the moment and enjoy what you're doing instead of working so hard, I should say staying focused, to just basically lose track of yourself. And you look up and you're 45 and, you know, you're sitting here thinking to yourself, damn, what the hell happened, you know? And it's crazy hearing something like that from Nas because, of course, 30 years. But at the same time, like, for someone who's had such success, like, you still reminisce on doing things differently when you were younger. Outrageous. With the best hip hop album ever made. I don't know, that just stuck out to me for hearing somebody like that saying that.
That bar was hard as fuck. I think people are kind of not understand. That bar is hard. Like, I don't know why that shit.
Out one day. What do you mean people were not understanding?
No, I'm saying like if people, like I'm saying, I'm speaking future wise. If people don't really like listen to, like, just grab that real quick and just, because that's another jewel. This man's a jewel dropper, bro.
Yeah, we've hit like the old head giving advice to the younger generation bit of the album, but here. Like especially this little like back half of the album is all like, hey, here's the lessons you should have learned from my life and how I've lived.
This song was one of the high points for me. Mainly because the whole album is a big nostalgia trip. This song feels like a sequel to I think it's called Second Childhood off Stillmatic.
Oh, that's a good style.
Right. So this is almost it's the same theme as that song, which is basically as you get older you become more infantile as time goes on. Like I love the West Coast sound and synths. Like it just sounded like that 90s West Coast, like some Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg shit. I fucking love that shit. And I used to hate it back in the day, because the whole East Coast, West Coast stuff. But yeah, I love that. The one gripe, I don't understand the last line where he's saying, "Cause today is the youngest that you will ever be."
Like,
and I'm like,
tomorrow
you'll be younger.
No, you'll be older.
Right?
You'll be older.
Tomorrow, I'll be older. I'll be older tomorrow. Right now, we're the youngest.
Tomorrow?
Today is the youngest you'll ever be because tomorrow you'll be older than you were today.
That's obvious. All right, sorry. The song is called "Once a Man, Twice a Child." To me, the message is at some point in your life, you hit the oldest age you'll ever be, and as you age from there, you become more childlike again. Like old people are little kids in our eyes. We look at them like babies. You got to do things for them. So it feels like, again, and that's a similar thing to Second Childhood, is you're a kid when you're a kid, and then you're a kid again when you get old.
Because someone's got to take care of you.
The last line sounds antithetical to what the some of the messaging in the song is about.
Yeah,
I totally understand. Today's the youngest I'll ever even that doesn't make sense because yesterday I was younger than I am now. So what does that even mean? I don't understand it. I feel like he should have ended it with "today might be the oldest you'll ever be," because at some point you'll hit some peak age and then you'll become more childlike as time goes on, as you become senile or can't care for yourself or whatever the fuck. But maybe I'm reading too deep. But line,
you'll never again be as young as you are right at this moment. True. Maybe that's kind of like the line he was going for. But yeah, it's a little muddied.
Yeah, when you gotta make shit rhyme, sometimes shit is not gonna make sense. You gotta make it rhyme.
That shit make it make sense.
That shit makes sense. Damn it! Give that man his props.
Cause today is the youngest that you will ever be. Yesterday I was younger. What does that mean? It doesn't make sense to me. But whatever. It's this whole. Yeah. I'm super hyper dissecting words. So
okay.
So this "Once a Man, Twice a Child." I like how he brought in game reference. I guess or like video game references, because when he was a kid, like I swear on that one on the chorus, he was like, I ducked razors, ducked some punches, even ducked gun Nintendo, duck hunt, like. That right there was like, damn, this man definitely played Duck Hunt when he was growing up as a kid, bro. So it's just like, it's kind of cool that he incorporated that with the title of this song and inside of his chorus. Like, Nas is nasty, bro. Every time this man drops an album, you just realize how nasty he really is. But yeah.
So next track is Get Light. I don't know what the number is. What did y'all think of that one? I feel like this little like trio of tracks here. Once a Man, Get Light, First
13.
Time. I feel like the energy dipped a little bit, but that was on purpose. Like these were all purposely put together because it was supposed to be kind of like this teaching moment kind of thing. So he wanted a little lower energy for it.
No, yeah, it's track 13.
Yeah.
No, I this one, it was okay for me. Like I didn't feel. It's definitely a dip down on the vibes, but no, yeah, I don't really got much on it.
I like it a lot. It's a song. Getting Light is something that New York is. It's a little old now. Because now we're getting sturdy, but it's the same thing as getting sturdy. They used to yell it out, get light, and then it'd be like, people just, it's fire. It's called Getting Light, and it's, I guess, a song for like dancing, and it also sounds like it's for the ladies a little bit too. So I appreciate the song. Getting Light is It's a pastime. A lot of people used to get light in the lunchroom, at recess, and shit like that. And it would just be like, it's kind of like the no music thing. Like, no music.
Yeah, I remember that back in the day.
Music. You be in the audience, in the auditorium, and it just be a whole bunch of kids clapping, making a beat and shit. So that's the way I felt about this song. I'm like, ooh, I like this fast-paced beat. I like what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
I this whole song is about nostalgia for me, where he's talking about people popping wheelies, riding it. This is like all the like motor sport shit was a huge thing back in the day in New York. People used to have like dirt bikes, ATVs, popping wheelies, doing all types of crazy shit, bro. He's talking about partying on the block, having holiday feasts. Like there's just a lot of callbacks to what it was like being in New York City at a particular time, and I'm nostalgic for that. I grew up with that, and this song spoke to me on that level. I loved at the outro with Party and Bullshit, Fire.
Yeah.
Again, it's a nostalgic trip. Like Party and Bullshit is Biggie Smalls' first single ever recorded, right? So it just feels like he's speaking to like, trying to draw parallels between like basically what he's trying to go for in this era is he's trying to place the song back in that time in the early 90s when he was growing up doing things and Biggie was on the like Party and Bullshit came out. That's the vibe of the whole track for me. And I especially love the last line in the second verse where he says the sun doesn't even know, believe who you are, the sun doesn't even know he's a star. Or it's a star. And he's saying like, the sun is a star, but we call it a sun, but it's also like a double entendre. Like the children of today don't even know their own worth or their own value, that they are stars. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was deep. And again, it's a problem growing up in the hood, is knowing your worth and undervaluing yourself and things like that. I don't know. It's just what I took away from the song. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Yeah, Pooch, I'm going to just jump in on what you just said as well. Like, yeah, this does make you reminisce, but at the same time, this album is also doing a very good job on touching base with, I should say, different age brackets of his fan base. And we'll touch more on this as we go further along in the overall review of this album, because I want to say that that's coming up again and towards the end. But like the Party and Bullshit, Get Light and all that stuff, that's really just speaking to the fans that's been rocking with them since the 90s, because we're all, I would assume 30, 35, somewhere around in that age range, maybe
I'm
more.
I'm 80s baby. Don't confuse me with the 90s. I'm an 80s baby.
All right, well, I'm going to tell in myself I'm 89, but
I would say even like early 40s, man. My older sister was like the biggest Nas fan that I knew growing up, and she's got a few years on me.
Yeah, your sister?
That's fire.
This is a new report.
Yeah, my
oldest brother is well known as a Jay-Z fan. But before he was a Jigga fan, we were Nas fans in my house. We all had the fade. We all had the part in our hair. We had grill. My brother had my brother had his little teeth. Yeah, we were Nas fans in my crib.
First?
Dude, go
so
ask my
awesome.
brother.
Shit,
We were Nas fans in my house, yo.
I can't wait to talk to Brian.
We were living in Queens. Nas was the young kid. My skin complexion had the same short haircut. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was a connection there, right? And
awesome.
My brother's from Brooklyn. My brother's from Brooklyn, but I'm from Queens, so I always been a little bit like, I'm a Nas man a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get into this next track.
That's fire.
It's a good track.
Before we go on, we didn't even say the fucking saxophone and piano mixture on that track was nuts.
Yes.
Okay, so I forgot. Yo, the music was crazy on that song. Nobody mentioned it. You got to keep giving Hit Boy his shout outs because he did a lot on this album. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
The whole sound, atmospherically, the songs blend into each other. Everything, the production was done masterfully.
And every time I hear a sax, it just takes me back. It's nostalgic. It just feels old. You know what I'm saying? I also can't tell the difference between the saxophone and the clarinet sometimes. I know the clarinet is a little woodier, but I was like, is this a clarinet or a sax? Whatever. Either one. That whatever that thing is, I think it's a sax. And the piano, it was crazy. I loved it. Sorry for cutting you off.
Does Hit Boy not have one of those like producer hooks that you told us that every producer has?
Oh, like the tag at the beginning?
Yeah.
He does. It's really short. It just says Hit Boy and then it just goes away.
Yep, it's quick.
Gotcha. I must have missed it every single time that it happened then, because I don't think that I heard it a single time in this album.
Well, to your defense, it's not on every track. It's on a couple of them here. It was more prominent on the other albums, but this one is not consistent. I think probably because he just assumes you know who it is, you know?
Yeah, you know by now. It's the third one. You should know by now.
Yeah, Nas dedicated a whole song to him, the Michael and Quincy. That's a song dedicated. It's like, yo, look, this whole album is me and Hit Boy, you know?
It also feels like two masters of their craft making something. It just feels like very masterfully done on both ends.
And that's hard to do. Like finding somebody to work with who really is vibing on your same wavelength, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because usually, you know, someone outshines the other, but much respect here for sure.
There's an age gap too, you're forgetting.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we get into this next track, this
song
is one of my favorites as well.
Yes.
Track 14, First Time.
Oh, this is number 2, my favorite out of this album. This right here is number 2. The fact that this man, the beat.
Wait, what? This is number 2, my favorite.
This is
your favorite or your second?
No, this is my
favorite?
second.
Okay.
This is my second.
That's
Sorry.
a weird way
I was
to
kind of
say
mad
that.
excited. Yeah, I got mad excited.
This is
My
number
bad.
2, my favorite. I'm like, what?
This is my bad. This is like I have 2 favorites. This is like it's hard. This is damn good.
I'm with you. I love this song.
I love this song. This is fucking this. Oh man. So I have so many notes on this. Let me just go quickly so everybody's gonna have a chance. So one of my things I found pretty awesome that I also had to look up because I didn't understand the reference is when he said, "My dad did music. I had to pursue it. I spread my wings on the helipad like Troop did." I didn't know anything. I didn't know who Troop was. I searched it up. So Troop was an R&B group back in the 89s, and their hit song was Spread My Wings. The reason why it's a relevant thing is because Hit Boy, the producer of that song, was the nephew. He's the nephew of Troop, one of the members. I think his name was Rodney Benford. He was on that. He was with that music group. So
That's pretty cool.
He referenced that with Hit Boy because Hit Boy's with him and stuff like that. So that was one of the things I was like, okay, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And then he also referenced a lot of West Coast shit. Like he referenced Pac on it too, with the "I Get Around" song and the Digital Underground and all that. Bro, like, man, I don't know why this is I might put this as my number 1. I don't know, but fuck.
This whole song was about reminiscing, really. He's talking about basically the first time he's first talking to us about the first time we've listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then he's talking about the first time he's listened to the things that he likes. You know, he references, you know, at one point he goes to Kendrick Lamar. He references Kendrick and saying like, look, I remember the first time I heard this kid, like he's going to be a legend type of shit. And I felt similar to the first time I listened to Pete Rock, which is another, Slick Rick. I'm bugging. He says that the first time he listened to Slick Rick, sorry, all the Pete Rock references earlier. The first time he listened to Slick Rick and you know, it's just a big theme. Like you said, he references Tupac. He's talking about
Biggie
the first
too.
time he listened to him with Digital Underground.
First time you listen to Biggie.
Right, exactly. There's just a lot of references to just to hip hop and all the things we listen to. He even talks about himself where he's saying like, it might be Represent where he talks about getting the tech from the dresser, which is an old Nas song. But he's talking about like, y'all must be nostalgic from that when y'all heard me talking about the tech in the dresser. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. This song spoke to me a lot because we, you know, as hip hop fans, we always talking about who put who on, who listened to who first, and you know, now it doesn't have that negative energy, but it is a lot about when we first heard artists, how we first heard artists, where we were when we heard them, how we felt, all of that. And I really love that.
Yeah, because he even says it too towards the end on the outro. I know the first time I heard of Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, he named all these guys and how it was going crazy for him. So like I said, like he's just really taking all his energy that he got and just throwing it back out, saying, "This is what I, first time hearing it." So it's dope. It's fucking fun. Do you?
I like when he's talking about being in the car with the girl and giving her the test and seeing if she catches all the ad libs. It's cool because a lot of women. It's a hood thing to like a girl, like if a girl really likes hip hop and shit like that, I like that.
Dude, that's a test in general, man. You ever show someone like your favorite movie and you're just there watching them to make sure they're laughing at the right parts?
This guy down here, Pucho, he's that guy. You say something about a movie, you be like, "Oh, let me ask you, do you know about this part?" You be like, "No." You be like, "Oh, you didn't really watch the movie then." He does it all the time.
But is that, but also like sitting there hoping, because it's a vulnerable position you're putting yourself in, right? You're sharing with somebody something that you love, and if they don't love it the same way you love it, you feel it hurts you in a sense. So you want them to enjoy it the same way that you enjoy it. You want them to laugh at the same parts, smile at the same parts, feel some emotion. So yeah, when you show somebody something and you look over and they're on their phone, that shit, it hurts you because you feel like I'm sharing a piece of me and you ain't fucking with it. Like,
I just had PTSD off of what Pucho just said.
What happened?
Nothing. I just clearly remember showing somebody something that I thought was awesome, and then they're just sitting over there fucking around on Facebook or something like that. And it really does kind of hurt your feelings.
Man, even our little listen to this channel on our Discord channel, you pop something in there like, let's see how long it takes someone to respond to this and see what they think about it.
True.
Track number 15, Beef.
This song is about regret. This song is all about regret. It's about past issues, past beef, and how he wishes he could have done it differently.
And sorry, Mateo, go ahead.
No, go for it, dude.
Okay. So yeah, you are right. This is about regret, but this kind of jumps back to what I was saying previously about making a mortar and being focused on what fuels you to get up every day to do what you love. I hate to say that you create your own devil when it comes down to what your passion is, but this is it. So, there's a lot of reference in here that's saying things. I'm everywhere in the hearts of man, jealousy and envy in my right hands. Them is my mans. And also, I'm the reason the USA and Al Qaeda, I'm the tension between them,
Hard bar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can only understand what it's like to be coming up as a kid in New York City and just really coming out and swinging to the point where I want to claim top spot and you're going to respect me like it or not. And, as we get over into the Jay-Z beef that they had back then that really shaped his career, it's interesting to hear that that's one of the major flames that has progressed him to not only continue to keep getting better, but also to be aware of knowing that that's what fueled me, regardless if it was a good thing or not. Kobe was the same way when he was alive. So
I love this song. This is my favorite song on the album, by the way. This is my favorite one. Go back and listen to it, my brother. It feels like
That's crazy.
There's so many references on this song, but this song it reminds me of what's this? I'm a gun or whatever. Is that right?
Yes.
That last song where he's personifying a gun. The gun is a person that has feelings and does things, right? And this he's talking about beef. Beef is a person. Beef is saying, like, I'm the words that get misrepresented. Like, anytime somebody you don't like says something, you always interpret it in the worst way.
I did not catch that. So this
that's
is
a
like
good way to look at this.
Ooh.
Yeah, look, he tells you, parents of every slain rapper wish I didn't exist. Like, he's talking about the beef. This song is so fucking deep. The whole song, he's just talking about beef as a living thing. Go. The whole song is I am this, I am that bars. He's talking about he himself is beef, and he's just talking about all the different problems. He's like, I'm the 1,000-foot fence that keeps you from getting rich, like because beef makes you do stupid shit. Like this song just has so much that like because beef could also be interpreted as pride as well, like in my mind, where pride and beef have so many parallels, where a lot of times you got beef with somebody over pride. You know what I'm saying? Somebody says something that prideful, like I didn't like what he said, or I gotta get back, or I gotta hit back, or you know, makes you do stupid shit. Like my man Marcellus Wallace told Butch, all right, in Pulp Fiction, right? He told them that's pride fucking with you. Like, don't let pride fuck with you. Get this money. And then Butch fucked the whole shit up over pride. So, you know, that's the whole plot of Pulp Fiction. So,
yeah,
that's true. That's a Pulp Fiction reference in 2 videos in a row.
I'm not gonna. I'm not.
I don't remember the last one.
I'm not gonna lie, Butch. I'm shocked by you saying this is your favorite. Because honestly, I thought you and me would have been on the same page by saying the next one, which is a bonus track. I would have said you, because that's my favorite. But
we got 2 tracks to go, bud.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, wait, isn't this? Which one is this?
This is
Beef.
15.
Oh, yeah, I'm bugging.
No, verse 2 is crazy. Now that you say it like that and the way you read it, and he says all the jails, all the parties I be, drive-bys with the kids that killed accidentally. That's the type of shit they try to pin to me. Tragic situations give me my identity. That's crazy, bro. The way that it means, I did not know that's what he was trying to do on this track. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, give it a second listen. Just viewing it from the perspective, Beef almost felt like the Grim Reaper. Like like he's like this presence that's there. Like other hip hop artists, I can't remember who, but they've made songs where the Grim Reaper's a person in the world, and you know he's killing people, but you know it felt reminiscent of that. And I wish I could quote what songs I'm thinking about right now.
There's this
DMX Omen, right? That's one of them.
Maybe I can't even remember.
There's this novel by Terry Pratchett called Small Gods, and the entire point of the Small Gods is that things, gods, deities get power in belief. So if you believe that a thing exists, you can basically like force it into like being as a personified avatar of that thing. I get those kind of vibes with the way you explained that. I didn't catch that on the first listen, honestly, but I like that idea of being some kind of like
next
actual
track though.
Yeah. Next track number 16.
Motherfucker's rushing to get his favorite song. This is my favorite song, motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
Eat a dick.
Are we done? Anything else
Yeah,
with
no,
beef?
no,
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't like Tony's energy.
Let me get my
Number
energy.
16. Don't shoot. Go ahead, Tony. Take us away.
Nah, this is not mine. Mine's a 17.
Oh,
It's the
God.
bonus
What's
track.
wrong with
I already
you?
said
Tim.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Don't Shoot. There were some fun little like rhythm shifts in this song. It was interesting. The only problem I had with it, honestly, is it felt like the message was almost the same as the previous track. And I'm got a note here. I was like, they got real similar messages. I'm curious if these 2 tracks needed to be like doubled up and played like you'd put back to back in like the placement of the album.
I didn't get that feeling. It's strange. Maybe I didn't listen to it correctly.
What feeling?
That he's got that. It should have been along with the track before with Beef.
It's highly correlated. I mean, Don't Shoot, he's talking about like
Letting cooler heads prevail.
exactly. I mean, it's about not shooting,
Yeah,
right? He
yeah.
don't want you to shoot that gun.
Think about
Don't
it.
kill that person. Let's be better together. Let's squash our problems. Let's move forward in life. You making that mistake's gonna fuck you forever. How about if you don't make that? Where would your life go? Would it be better?
Okay.
There's just so much. Like this whole song. You know, and I mentioned it earlier where he's talking about the king disease is inside of you, like having a cool head is the cure to that king's disease. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like
not
that.
doing that stupid shit is the cure to the king's disease. Like get out of poverty, get out of your struggle, like make better decisions. Like, I don't know. I'm not one of them pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, but I still like the message. You got to tell people to pull yourself up.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you have to. Yeah. Because who else is going to do it?
That is true.
It's true. Like your situation could be fucked for a bunch of shit that ain't your fault. You still got to try your hardest to get out that situation. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
Damn right.
Yeah, also, I like how he's talking about working with the police commissioner. And he says at the end, he doesn't really know the police commissioner. But he says that he would talk to him even if it meant saving one life. He's like, he's about saving lives, which I thought was very noble. Of like, he's like, when he says, imagine if we had 1 year with no deaths, 2 years with no deaths, how much could we do with that time, with that, you know? I think it's very thought-provoking, and I think he keeps doing that on a lot of these tracks. I think he keeps planting seeds, but I think he does it in such a masterful way that you don't really see it, but you're getting. A lot of times when we hear this information, we're like, "Oh, you kumbaya ass nigga, get the fuck out of here." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we dismiss it because it's not cool. It's not cool to be positive. It's not cool. It's a very cringe thing, and I think he's dropping these little seeds that we would normally be opposed to taking in, but we're like open. Our brain is open and we're listening, and I think this is really cool what he's doing and very positive.
The you mentioning the police commissioner stuff is another reason why I agree with Mateo, where these two songs feel together. Like the beef between police and the black community, right?
Yeah.
He's saying we need to put that aside. If it means coming together with the cops to prevent death, how am I a snitch? You know what I mean? How am I doing the wrong thing in your eyes if I'm trying to help you? You know what I'm saying? By doing a thing that maybe, you know, you gotta put aside your feelings about the police and this and that if it means we could save some of our community, you know?
It really does make you wonder what life would be like if that no snitch rule actually wasn't a thing. I understand why it is, especially in the past, but like as of today, like for instance, not to hijack the overall review, but Takeoff, for instance, you know, there was a bunch of people standing around when that dude got killed, but yet nobody has came forward on who actually did it. And I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it, but it's like, it makes you wonder, where will we be as a whole? And I mean, it's very prominent in the black community, but you know, just people in general. I know there's some shifty cops out there, but that I feel like that doesn't speak for everyone. And you know, David and Pucho and Tony, for what you guys are saying, I don't know. It does open up the mind. Hopefully, one day in our lifetime, we can get to that point where we can see a change in that. So,
yeah, I love
the reference to on Godson, right? He had the song "They Shootin', I Made You Look."
Yep.
That's one of my favorites. I love that.
And he also had "I Can," which was that kid song. I know I can. That was on the same album, right? The album was like two concepts merged together, right? But he's talking about, like, on one song he's talking about shooting you. On the other song he's talking about being all you can be, like reaching your maximum potential. And he's saying, you know, how people could look at that as, you know, he's contradicting himself or whatever. But I think he's looking back at that and saying that my message of let's be better, let's try to reach our maximum potential is the correct take from that you know, that album, I guess, or those two songs. My bad. But what were you gonna say, Doy? I cut you off.
No, I just wanted to say, you know, I think I lost it, but I like the message of the song.
My family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Our last and final track.
God.
Till My Last Breath.
Bro, the best, the bonus track is the best track in this whole fucking album. I'm just gonna break it down real quick on my notes. I got like 4 things here that I just want to just quickly get off. In the chorus, this man says, "King Disease, going KD, going Trey 5. All net, like starting for the Nets. Base to base, I'm suited up for the Mets." That right there, he's referencing Kevin Durant with his Trey 5 signature shoes, right? He's referencing how he's a Mets fan and a Knicks fan, and he mentioned this multiple times in multiple songs, and how it's like a double entendre for Freebase in terms of dealing with cocaine and baseball. I had to research it because that shit, bro, like that. I don't know why that shit caught me crazy. Then go down again. He mentions that bullshit that happened when Lil Nas X came to the picture and the algorithm mixed them two up. He was like, "I'm bigger than the algorithm if I'm being direct." So he's talking about
that's a boss move for sure.
He's talking about how y'all was searching that shit up and comparing. Where he has no flag or anything against the man, but how y'all were comparing. Oh, Lil Nas X is Nas. That's not he. That's where he was shutting that shit down.
Can we just talk about how clever that was on Lil Nas X's part, though, to like
Facts.
Boost his footprint by choosing that particular name?
Yeah, because Nas was pretty much saying like how that Old Town Road was outshining him. They were taking his name and connecting it with him.
I think it was one step even deeper than that, where he's saying, "I'm bigger than algorithms. I'm bigger than algorithms if I'm being direct." He's saying when Old Town Road came out, the algorithm was confusing the situation. Nas got overshadowed by Old Town Road. So I jumped on the remix called Rodeo with Lil Nas X, and he's saying, now I'm bigger than the algorithm because I'm being direct. Now when you look up Lil Nas X, I am coming up in the rotation correctly. I'm not getting overshadowed because I'm on the track with Lil Nas X. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was funny, man.
I like that.
And also,
this song should not have been a bonus. This this is the proper send off to this album.
I still got two more for that. Also, Pooch, I don't know if you caught it. There was an AZ reference as well when he was saying, because you're a fan of AZ.
You are?
Where he was like, yeah, Pucho, yeah, he is.
I love AZ, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm Dominican, all right? We gotta embrace sometimes.
I love AZ, bro.
He was like saying, I was home reading a book, top speed, probably a blunt. A can of Sprite and chopped cheese. Now that's hamachu or hamachi, I think is how he said it. I gotta look up the words. But him and AZ featured on a whole bunch of Sprite. Hamachi, thank you. Featured on a whole bunch of Sprite commercials, and that's what he was referencing. I didn't catch it when I first heard it. I didn't understand it, so I had to research that line, and that's what came up. I was like, damn, maybe Pucho's gonna catch that reference because I wasn't born around that time or listening to AZ like how you did.
Yeah, I'm so salty that AZ didn't blow the fuck up back in the day. Because, you go back, you listen to AZ right now, and for me, AZ's like the sound of hip hop, in my opinion. Like I love AZ so much. AZ and Premier together are like hip hop personified. Like I fucking love that shit. Yeah, I'm super bummed out that AZ's not like way more popular. Yeah, AZ still be dropping music occasionally. The shit is still fire. Like,
he does, he does. Some of his newer albums are awesome. And to kind of touch base on what you said about AZ not being commercialized, and even Nas to a sense, Tony just jumping ahead of you on the next line off of that Hamichi line. I ain't commercialized. How can they stop me? Got two fists up in the air, top of the steps like Rocky. Like, talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. And it's like, got an Emmy, I'm sorry, what is it? Got a Grammy, got an Emmy next to Tony or an Oscar. Yeah. And it's like, what more can be accomplished regardless of not being the limelight of, I should say, commercial success. I should say Nas did it his way. And I really think, like Mateo said, this is a great send off to the album.
It gets deeper than that. You just touched the tip of the iceberg with that. That right there, I also had to see what's he talking about. I know he's got the Grammy and all that and the Emmy, but he's saying he wants to get the E-GOAT. He wants all four. This man's
E-GOAT?
That's what they call it. It's a
Never
reference.
Heard of E-GOAT.
Wait, you're saying he wants the Tony too? I can't.
Yeah, he's saying he wants all four awards. That's called the EGOT or EGO or whatever or EGOT. My bad, EGOT. And he wants all four because he's trying to make Illmatic into a musical. I don't know if anybody knew that or not.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
He's trying to make it. He's trying to make it a musical. He wants all four. This man's trying to go out as a GOAT.
He should hit up Lin-Manuel Miranda, right?
Yo, I would throw some money at that. I would actually like to see that.
That's beautiful.
This
See,
I
this
love
song-
this
musical?
fucking track, bro. You can tell I love this track.
This song was interesting to me because honestly, until this bonus track, I was thinking to myself, I was like, this could be Nas' last album. This could be the album that he's just going out on. But this bonus track called Till My Last Breath, that Rocky reference in there because Rocky never fucking stopped. This might be him saying that there's just more shit coming. Like he's gonna go till he can't anymore.
But you could also read it as saying I could still see him stopping music and not stopping at other things. Like if his new goals are getting a Tony and getting an Emmy or an Oscar, sorry. Like is him not giving up, even though he's maybe not making music anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's gonna stop making music. But this album felt like he's flirting with the idea of like, look, I'm hitting my 30 years. This is a big celebration of my career. If Nas stopped right here, if Nas stopped 10 albums ago, I'll be all right. like, you know what I mean? But
it's even this shit is even crazier because towards the end, there was another one that I actually remembered because it was bad on Nas' part. It was pretty bad, but he was like, I'm colossal, can't stop my survival. Just landed AP on my left wrist. Tell Shorty come bless this. Had a bad one in Texas. Unbothered, well rested. Bad.
Uh-oh.
We lost Tony.
wow.
Hold on.
The
I
flow
got
was
this.
too hard.
AP on my left wrist. Tell Shorty come bless this. Had a bad one in Texas. Unbothered, well rested. Bad one at Essence. We brung it back to the essence. Got the verse done. About to hit. About to text hit. Yeah.
All right,
I don't know.
All right. Tony's gone. All right. Let me be real here. On my notes, I put this is my least favorite song on the album. I just want the people to know I did not like this song, and there are some things I liked about it, but I didn't like the song. My note said the best part about this song is that when this finished, Memory Lane from Illmatic played next, and I was like, "Oh, amazing!" All right, it was like a nice little like send off. I sat there and I listened to that whole song too. And I even wrote notes about it, but
damn, technical
difficulties. It felt cool to have a whole album about celebrating the whole career, nostalgic, and all of this stuff. And Spotify, the next song in the rotation goes back to Nas's first album. Not, New York Street of Mine is the best song on that album. But Memory Lane is always the song I think about when I think about that album. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool that maybe Spotify just knows me well, but it put that song next. And I was like, that was crazy.
Back to the praise for Hit Boy. Those horns to start off this song, though, those horns were fantastic.
Horns.
Yeah. And it's all about the shmoney.
I also hated this beat. All right.
Why?
It's just too really simple. It's too simple and it's low effort, and it goes on for too long. Especially with all the complexity of all the beats that came before it. This felt like this wasn't supposed to make the cut, in my opinion.
That's why it's called the bonus track, you would think?
So, Pucho, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like sometimes less is more, or do you think because they set the precedent that the music is complex, the whole album should be like that as well?
No, less can be more. I mean, on what song was it that there was a section of, I want to say it's on the Michael and Quincy song. There's a...
Where they just kind of drop everything?
Yeah. There's just nothing but drums. They dropped all and I was like, this is amazing. It feels like a callback to like the breakdown is what hip hop started as. Is just they took the section of disco songs that are just drums and they're like, we're gonna make a hip hop beat out of this. So that's how hip hop got started. And to me, that was less is more a lot of times, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But it's not that in this case they're doing it's too little. It's that it's too repetitive. It's that like the sound is too loud for too long, that it just feels like overwhelming. Like I feel like when you're doing less is more, you got to be subtle with it. Like you can't, in my opinion, for me, it didn't do it. It's Tony's favorite song. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of art, is that everybody interprets things differently.
There's also
absolutely.
There's also another one. I don't know if you caught whatever I said towards the end there, but there was another thing that he says. Bring a friend because I'm greedy. Brought her bag, double C's. Politically correctness. Hecklers are more respected than the one giving a message on stage. It's messed up. We can't say anything without offending. That right there is me. Got to be politically correct or you're offending everybody. And to Nas, he's saying like, damn, like I can't even rap on stage without people being offended. Like being politically correct and having hecklers, you know, they're messing around and shit, like coming at him for shit that he's saying. Whack. Because he's like, yo, I'm not trying to really disrespect. I'm just saying, you know, words to the songs and shit. Like that to me touched me too. So then he was like, now my mouth is a jailhouse with case pending. I was like, fuck.
You know, I feel like this could be a whole nother subject in its own, but, you know, there is some concern around that because it's like the whole cancel culture and censorship, like you got people jumping back 10, 20 years, finding something that you said way back in the past and then trying to hold you accountable for it for now. That does concern me with just music in general. So, yeah, that does make you think. Something I was going to say earlier, too, as a tieback statement, and then I'm, you know, done with this overall song, too. But we had talked about, like, what's next in it for Nas. I wanted to put a tieback statement back to the first track on this album, which was Ghetto Reporter. At the end, on the outro, I want to say Nas had put a line in here that really stuck out to me. He said, I'm trapped in hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't get out if I wanted to. All us rappers are trapped, and if we can't get out, you know what I'm saying? Till we over, till it's dead, till we in the dirt. When I'm 50 years old, I want to have 50-year-old fans, 16-year-old fans, 16-year-old fans. And it's like, if Nas does continue to keep going, there are going to be, I should say, maybe he might be able to carry his craft and influence into the future to the point where maybe touching base with what you said, Tony, about that censorship, it might not be a big deal because I feel like if you get more people to do it, then it gets accepted more. I feel like when you might be someone like a Kendrick or Nas or something like that to the point where you could come out and say some radical stuff that really gets the brain turning and someone gets offended by it because it's not politically correct, you know, that's where you get some problems. But if it becomes a norm, maybe he can influence the new generation with that as well. I don't know. Just
I find that a lot of people complain about political correctness because they're just assholes. And they just want something to rail against. But I do agree that there are definitely some issues with censorship. It can kill the conversation if you're so worried about offending someone that you can't have real, honest conversations about a topic. I mean, that's kind of like the whole point of the One Up, right? Is to try to have those real, honest conversations without
being
absolutely
fucking attacked.
Like that was my takeaway. It feels like Nas is whining like a little bitch, in my opinion. Where he's talking about cancel culture, that his mouth is in jail. They rigged the first time. Fuck out of here. Like, you could say a lot, all right? Like, there's always going to be a counter voice. Always. No matter what you say, somebody's going to come out against what you're saying. That's just the fact of the matter. Like, look it, but are you canceled? You got to take the criticism. You said your words. People are going to say counter words, and you got to hear them out and reflect and say, is there good value to what they're saying? Does this hold water? Like on Kendrick's his last album where he's talking about Demetrius' Marianne now, there was a lot of trans people that were upset that he was dead naming his cousin, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not supposed to call a person who's transitioned by their old name and blah, blah, blah. So there's people like shitting on Kendrick for that.
Yeah.
The vast takeaway from everybody, though, was that's a song about acceptance. And that was how he worked through the acceptance. Mm-hmm. So it's nobody ultimately canceled Kendrick Lamar for that song. And he said a lot of terrible shit about trans people in that song and a lot of beautiful things. So it's like, he just worked through his feelings, and a lot of people just accepted it as is. All these rappers were crazy homophobic just a couple years ago. They ain't canceled. So like I don't view the like it ain't that serious is all I'm saying. Like as long as you ain't coming out saying a whole bunch of crazy shit repeatedly and doubling down on it when you're wrong on situations, people are gonna take what you said and be like, look, we all grow. We all gotta work through how we were and how we should be, no matter, you know what I mean? I don't buy the whole the First Amendments. Fuck out of here. That it sounded like Nas is whining to me as well.
Yo,
Pucho said it best earlier. Art, that's the best thing about art. Everyone interprets it differently. So,
yo, I once heard a group of young gay black Spanish men together, say, I don't fuck with them niggas because them niggas is gay. The Pop Smoke part, that was the hardest shit I ever heard. And they all said it together. And I was like, well, this is crazy. Yo, if Pop Smoke didn't get canceled for saying that, I like I said, I think rap has way more free speech than any other speech.
I also think it depends who it is too, though. Like, it's oddly enough. Like, I think a certain rappers.
What rappers getting canceled?
No, I'm saying
the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
The baby almost got canceled. He came back. He came back.
Nah, he has buy one get one free concert tickets right now.
Facts. BOGO concert tickets. Yeah. Buy one get one free concert tickets. He got canceled, bro. His most recent album's doing terribly, but I feel like he deserves it.
Yeah, he did the thing that Bucha talked about. He doubled down on the hateful shit.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
Okay, overall
final thoughts.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I think this is a phenomenal. This is, in my opinion, just like Magic, going to age very well. Out of a scale from 1 to 10, I'm giving this a 9. This is like almost. I'm gonna be honest. I might just move it up to a 10 because there was no skips for me. Honestly, this is what I want. If anybody asked me like what I wanted from Nas, was this right here. So I think, honestly, strong 9. Might as well give it a 10 if I'm at 9. So I'll just boost it up to a 10. So this is a perfect album for me. 10.
For me, I'm giving it an 8.5. Only because there's 1 or 2 songs that I can deal with without. I'm not gonna skip, but I mean, it's like if I'm gonna go and replay it back in the whip, I'm probably not gonna play those 2 songs. And that's just because it was just a wind down of the flow.
Damn, Tony, we might have the same songs that would be a skip because I'd also be about an 8. There's 2 songs in here that they're not quite a skip, but they're not what I wanted. I'm not gonna play it.
There's no replay value for me. But other than that, 8.5. It's fucking fantastic album. Like I said, that bonus track is my favorite. So shout out. I hope he doesn't stop, and I hope he does that musical because I'll actually go to that shit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I would too, for sure.
It's an 8 for me. I like how much self-reflection there is in this album. I like the nostalgia. I like bringing years and years and years of his music knowledge and references in. It's definitely an 8. Go listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I'm actually going to give the album a 9 as well. I think with Nas coming in, and I'm not going to call it a final installment because we have no idea, but hammering home just what's make him great and just having that reflection and also just still continuing to educate not only for his past fans, but for the new ones as well. I think it's dope. Out of the 4 albums that we've gotten so far, I would probably place King Disease 1 as number 1. This would be number 2. Given Magic 3, and King Disease 2 would be my least favorite installment. Yeah, out of the 4.
For me, I'm torn. So my initial inclination is to give this album an 8.5, right? But I love the message on enough of the songs that I'm gonna give the album a 9 personally.
Damn.
I love Beef. I love Don't Shoot. I love Once a Man, Twice a Child, Michael and Quincy. I love the messages on these songs, and I like the concepts behind those songs. My main gripe with the album overall is it's too samey in concept. The whole album is just a celebration of Nas. It's like, I've known Nas is the man since I was 6 years old. Like you don't got to make 17 songs to tell me that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And at times I wrote down like, oh, he's writing about how ill he is again. Like that's what the song's about. And I'm like, fuck. Like so that's why a song like Beef, where it was like about something so different, it was very refreshing to me. It's why it's my favorite song on the album. But and so. Even though I love those other songs, them being the same conceptually, it kind of wants me to give the album an 8, but I love some of the other songs so much, I'm going to give it a 9. That's my final answer, a 9. A big thumbs up, all right? I'm a thumb down and a thumbs up guy. I forgot. I'll give it the thumb up. My hitchhiker thumb, by the
So
way.
we took a little bit longer on this than we thought we did. So let's get this next album out of the way real quick. We're moving straight into Taylor Swift's latest
Oh my God, Taylor Swift! Yo,
she's doing.
Not only is the album good, ladies and gentlemen,
numbers.
if you look at the charts, well, not right now, but like a week and a half ago, she got like 23. She got like 21 songs on the album. If you look at the charts, the top
20.
Last week it was like the top 24 songs. She was 21 of them on Billboard. I'm like, this is stupid. Her whole album is a classic. A lot of people can't say that. So you got to give the white girl some props.
Fox, we're not actually doing a full breakdown. We're already over what we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a 45-minute review, and we're pushing an hour and 40 minutes. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Well, it was worth it. Hopefully,
It was
people
very good.
Got some great
Hopefully,
takeaways for it.
them Nas fans that were talking about too much Jay-Z dick ride and feel like we gave Godson himself,
Facts.
the proper dues. Okay.
Well, this has been a very... I like this. This is a nice one-up review. I think it was too long, but we'll work on it. And we always want you to remember that we're here for you. And if you're going through anything, just remember that, this is not the end and this is not the beginning. And you'll be fine. And we're here with you. Hit that subscribe button. Share to your friends. And go one-up yourself.
And go follow Fox on all the social media.
Yes,
Go
yes,
follow.
yes.
Go listen to King's Disease 3.
Go listen to Taylor Swift.
Peace.
Doughy Gang.
I'm going to cut that.
We're out.